Are we ready to get started? Okay, so welcome to part 1 of our series, Building Your Social Media Brand. My name is Dr. Erin Laverick, and I am the Assistant Vice President at Concordia University in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So Kelsey, if you could, there we go. So for those of you who need a map, I always need a map so I can figure out where I am or what I'm looking at. Concordia is in the state of Michigan. There you go. We're about 45 minutes away from Detroit. We're also close to the city of Toledo. If you've ever heard of Toledo, Ohio, that's actually where I live. I drive into work 45 minutes every day. We're also close to Chicago, Illinois, which is nice if you like theater, the arts, perhaps you like to shop. It's a very nice city to visit. So the university, or Concordia University Ann Arbor, is close to the University of Michigan, which makes Ann Arbor the top college city in the United States. So there's also a lot to do in the city of Ann Arbor, both on our campus and off of our campus. Okay. And I should say, once we get started, you are more than welcome to type any questions that you have in the chat, or it looks like we're a smaller group, so I'm perfectly fine with you just unmuting yourself and asking a question, okay? All right, so Kelsey, could we move to that next slide, please? Wonderful. So Moses, Mr. Lee, has a poll that he is going to send out where we're going to have you type what social media, or mark what social media platforms you're on. So you just need to click on whatever social media platforms you currently use. Let's see, so Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn seem to be what's used the most, which makes me feel good because those are the 3 that I use. But as we're going to look in a few minutes, we're going to see that those 3 social media platforms all play a very different role. They have a different purpose. And so how we use these social media platforms to brand ourselves is important. We have to think about how we're using these platforms before we post, okay, so that we can effectively brand ourselves. All right, so let's get out of the poll. All right, so as I said, the platform that you use, and when we say platform, that could be Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I have younger children, they love TikTok. That platform informs what and how you post, okay? So whenever we think about social media, we should think of it as a triangle. And as you can see, we have this triangle to the left where the platform is on the top, and that would go down to have us consider our audience. Who are we friends with on Facebook? Who might see a post that you put in LinkedIn? Who might look at your Instagram pages? Okay, who follows you on Instagram? And once we consider the audience, we move to the purpose, which I really think is the most important part. Why are you posting the information that you wish to post on the platform? Okay, so real quick, I would like you to just unmute yourself and tell me who the audience is, the general audience for LinkedIn. Anyone can just unmute themselves. Karen?
Especially professionals.
Professionals, very good. So professionals use LinkedIn, and why might they use LinkedIn? What's their purpose for using LinkedIn?
When I want to find a new job, something interesting.
Okay, finding a new job, maybe you're posting a job. Okay, so we need to be extremely professional or when we use LinkedIn. Okay, now let's think about Facebook. Who might a general audience for your Facebook page be?
Friends and families.
Friends and family, very good. And so why would I post, or what is my purpose for posting on Facebook?
I want to inform my friends about me, about my private activities.
Yeah, and I love that word inform. That's perfect for when we look at purpose, right? We're giving information about ourselves. So that could be, you know, here's what I did on Saturday afternoon. I went bowling with my friends, or I cleaned my house all day. That's what I've been doing during quarantine, right? Cleaning. So that purpose to communicate is different. When we're on LinkedIn, which someone mentioned is more of a professional platform, our purpose might be more to persuade, right? Because we want to maybe find a job, or we want to convince others to come and work for our company. So our purposes are very different, and so are our audiences, depending on that platform. And so we always want to consider what platform you're using, who the audience is, and what are you trying to accomplish with that post. Okay? Any questions, Sophie? No? All right, let's move to the next screen. Okay, so how many of you, and you can take yourselves off mute, how many of you have seen something on social media, whether it be LinkedIn, Facebook, where you're like, oh, that's really offensive, or oh, that makes me feel uncomfortable, or oh, I don't agree with this idea at all? How many of you have seen a post like that? All right. I see someone raise their hand. Would you like to share or summarize that post? That's okay if you don't. No? All right. Well, in the United States, right, we just finished this presidential election. I'm sure you've heard nothing about it, right? But some of my friends on Facebook, the things that they would post, I was, wow, you're really angry, or wow, you're being really insensitive to other people's thoughts or opinions. And so regardless, it does not matter what the platform is, okay? When you use social media, you have to respect others and yourself. And that is really step one in building your brand, respecting yourself and respecting others, okay? Yeah. So how do we do that? Well, the first piece is you have to know your audience, okay? The second is you need to censor yourself. Hold back a little bit. If you think, oh, this might make people unhappy, or this might make people feel uncomfortable, hold back, okay? Don't put it out there for everyone to see. I have a 14-year-old daughter, And we've recently, my husband and I have recently allowed her to use Instagram. And, you know, we had a big talk about being respectful on Instagram. And my husband told her, don't post things that you don't want your grandmother to see. So if grandma can't see it, don't put it out there, okay? So hold back. The second is be nice, be kind, okay? Tell the truth. Be you, all right? So now I'm telling you to hold back a little bit, but still be you, all right? So think about ways that you can put your best image forward, especially on LinkedIn, where future employers might be looking at your qualifications. So be who you are, but be the best you, okay? And then the last one, and I really think this is important, is ask before you post. So did you notice Kelsey asked or informed the group, hey, I'm going to record this session. Please let me know if you're uncomfortable doing that. If you are posting something with friends or colleagues, always ask their permission before you post, okay? And that's just the nice, respectful thing to do, okay? So again, step one in building your personal brand, respecting yourself and respecting others. Does anyone have any questions before we move to the next slide? No? All right. Kelsey, can we move? All right. So one of the things that we want to think about when we brand ourselves on social media is that the words that we use and the images that we use send the message. So we have to not only think about what pictures you want to post, but also what words you're going to use in order to communicate with your viewers or your followers. So here, and I cannot make this up, a young woman posted a selfie on Instagram. I hate the circumstances, but at least I'm having a good hair day. And then when you look at the hashtags, it says rest in peace, best mama ever. So when we read this message, where was this young lady?
Funeral.
At a funeral. Okay, so why, yes, very good, thank you. Why are these words a little concerning or strange? Patrick, I see you smiling. I see Murphy smiling. I see a couple other people giggling. Why is this strange? Oh,
Disrespect.
Instead, she is looking at her hair. That is a beautiful response. Yes. So, you know, how, if we were going to revise this message, or if we could find this young woman and give her a lesson on branding, what could we tell her? What should she put instead of, at least I'm having a good hair day? What do you think? You can either type it in the chat or just unmute yourselves. Ooh, at least I'm with my family. That's very good, Maria. Oh, Jennifer, that's beautiful. I hate the circumstances. but I tried to look my best. That is excellent. Very good. Okay, nice job. Kelsey, could we move to the next slide, please? All right, so now we're going to try this. We're going to take it one step further, okay? And I'm going to have you select, well, we know the platform is Instagram, okay? But I want you to think about the audience and the purpose of this post. So Jerry Falwell, and you see a picture of him on your screen at a podium giving a speech. He was a president of a very large university in the United States, and it was a devout Christian university. And this fall, a picture of him that he posted, okay, he posted this, of him with a pregnant woman, arm around this pregnant woman, drinking a glass of alcohol with his belly showing too. And he posted this on his Instagram page. He was forced to resign from his job at the university, okay? So that's one thing I want you to really think about when you're using social media to brand yourself. You know, we talked about respect for yourself and others. You know, thinking about the consequences that a post may have is very important, okay? I don't know that he was thinking about the consequences when he posted this on Instagram, but there is a big difference when you look at this man in a suit presenting at the university compared to what he was doing on his vacation, right? So you always need to put your best foot forward on social media so that your audience trusts and respects you, okay? So who do you think his audience was? Like, why would he post this? Who would the audience be? You can either unmute yourself or just chat, put it in the chat. It's up to you. Okay, perhaps the pic with his pregnant wife was for his close friends, colleagues, family, and friends. Okay, so that would have been his intended audience, right? But as Karen puts, future students might have seen this, okay? And Patrick mentions he has a big name, so a lot of his followers maybe are fans or may support him. So that's an excellent point too. Unfortunately, this was not his wife. It was a colleague. So that made it a little worse. But I think Karen's point about future students, if you are the president of a university and this is posted, you know, future students will see that and it may persuade them not to attend the university. So thinking before you post is really important because it can impact your brand. The other piece that you should consider is if you have posts like this on your Instagram page or your Facebook page and you're thinking, well, I'm not the president of a university, so it doesn't matter. But it does, because future companies or employees, they will Google search you, and if they can find you on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and there are negative posts or posts, that can damage your reputation or your ability to get a job. So it's really important, even though friends and family may be using Instagram and Facebook, it's really important to think about, what if someone outside my friends and family sees this post? What will the consequences be for that? Okay. Any questions? No? Okay. So the next one we're going to look at are some tweets. Okay. I have 3 questions for you. Okay. You can either type them in the chat or just unmute yourself. But what is AFLAC? Have you ever seen those commercials? AFLAC? Yes, Patrick, good. It's an insurance company, and that annoying little duck always flies around as like, AFLAC. Have you ever heard that? AFLAC. So Gilbert Gottfried, who's an American comedian, is the voice of that duck, or was the voice of that duck. Yes, Murphy, good. They're based in the US. But as you can see from this second picture, they also do a lot of business in what country? What's that other? There's the US flag, and then there's a flag for another, Japan. Very good. Okay. So does anyone know what AFLAC's values are? If they're an insurance company, what do you think they would be interested in? What are their values?
And while you guys put that in the chat, that picture I put in there of that little duck, the speaker, that is a cancer AFLAC duck. So they did a lot of robotics research and did a lot of other research into how children cope with having cancer. And so they created this AFLAC duck to help children cope with cancer, just to give you a little insight into what their values might be.
So now that you have that little piece of information, what do you think this company's values are? See, a couple people, let's see. A couple people seem to be typing in the chat. Yeah, so they certainly care, right? Health, focused on children feeling safe and dealing with disease, healthcare. Very good. Okay, so they're clearly a company that really cares about others, right? So let's move to the next slide and watch a video.
Can you guys see that all right?
Can you see? Okay.
Okay.
This was an unexpected bill not covered by my health insurance. And this is the AFLAC duck who helped me cover it. AFLAC!
When you're sick or injured, AFLAC is there. We can help with expenses health insurance doesn't cover. Get to know us at aflac.com.
This was
Okay, so AFLAC is going to help people pay those medical bills, right? Well, remember that voice of the duck, the AFLAC, his name is Gilbert Gottfried, okay? And he made some horrible, jokes on Twitter. It says, I split up with my girlfriend, but like the Japanese say, there'll be another one floating by any minute now. And then another tweet, I was talking to my Japanese real estate agent. I said, is there a school in this area? She said, not now, but just wait. So he's the spokesperson for AFLAC, okay, a company that we know has values that show caring and consideration for others. And they also do a lot of business in the country of Japan, okay? So we know that this platform, or the platform that the speaker used, or the writer used, was Twitter. Who was the audience for these tweets? And I think we need to look at, maybe it wasn't Gottfried's audience, but who ended up seeing these tweets? Who was the unintended audience? Their insurance customers. Very good, Patrick. Right. And how would they view, how would the customers view, or investors? Yeah, good. How would the audience view these tweets? And yeah, there would be a negative impact. So let's jump to purpose real quick. What do you think his intended purpose behind these tweets was? You know, he sent out these tweets, and what do you think his purpose in writing them was? It was negative, yeah. It had a negative impact. But I think when he sent them, his purpose was to entertain or to be funny, right? To have, because he's a comedian. So he probably thought, oh, this will be funny. And my audience, who maybe follows him as a comedian, may have found these humorous, right? But the AFLAC community or audience did not. So you could have multiple audiences that follow you. And so when you brand yourself, you have to think, okay, what would my professors think about this post? What would my friends think about this post? What would my employers think about this post? My colleagues. So it's not just this big group of people. They all play different roles in your life, and you have to think about what each group, how they're going to react to your posts, okay? And that's how you build your brand, by really honing in or focusing on these different audiences that you're communicating with through social media, okay? Who has a question? No? Okay. So now I'm going to have you do this on your own because I've walked you through a few. I have 2 posts for you, okay? I will give you obviously the platform, but I want you to analyze the audience and the purpose. And you can pick one of these. So one is a picture of 2 high school girls in Ohio, and they made up a sign that says, if you can see it, it says, "Let's shoot up the school for homecoming." Excuse me. And they have fake little pistols that they're holding. And the Instagram, excuse me, the Instagram reads, "If school shooting was a sport, America would get the gold." The second one is another Instagram picture, and it reads, "What a great day to be a rocket." Now, this was a school in Michigan where they did not have, excuse me, clean water. And so this girl went to the restroom to wash her hands, and that's what came out of the faucet. So here, you know, we're dealing with a pretty important issue. This student, though, was suspended from the school because she posted this picture on her Instagram, okay? So think about, again, audience and purpose with this picture, and what could she have done differently, okay? So I'm going to have you, you can either type your answers in the chat, or if you would like to just unmute yourself and share your analysis, that would be great. But let's take about 3 minutes for you to, you know, do some brainstorming and think about what these students should have done differently, okay? Just pick one of the pictures and think about the audience, the purpose, and what they should have done differently. And if you need help or you have a question, just type it in the chat or unmute yourself. All right. We have one answer in the chat. Would anyone else? Oh, there we go. Murphy got one too. Yeah, very good. So our first answer for for the dirty tap water picture is that the schoolgirl should have sent the tap water, maybe taken a picture and sent it to the school administration in an email, which, you know, would have been a private conversation, right? So that's an excellent response. Murphy, same thing, suggested to the school administration, perhaps get a plumber to fix the pipe. Very good. And then, oh, good, we have one for the gun clip too. Yeah, a more peaceful photo would have been much more appropriate. Certainly guns are not allowed in schools. Yes, very good. That if they were protesting, right, there's a more peaceful or positive way to do that. Good. So think about, you know, if these girls were applying to college and the admissions office came across this on social media, that could possibly impact their ability to get into school, right? So I think, you know, social media is very easy to use and you can do it fast, but you really have to think before you post. And so there's really two important pieces in branding yourself. One is respect yourself and others. And two, think about how you're using the platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. How are you using these platforms to effectively communicate with all the audiences that follow you, okay? And why are you sending this message or posting, you know, specific information? What is the goal in doing so? If you can answer those questions before you post, you're going to start building a better brand for yourself because you'll be putting more thought and putting consideration for others before you post, okay? So Kelsey, could you switch to the next slide, please? Okay, so let's go ahead and real quick, just type in the chat box. After going through these slides, what do you now know about social media and branding? What's important for building your brand? And what should you avoid? Yes, content that is offensive. Very good. Anyone else? I see Patrick typing away. Yes, to avoid showing those private pictures, right? Yes, Patrick, excellent. Social media can be risky and it can affect your personal image or brand. So you really got to think. Very good. Anyone else? Yes, Murphy, very good. Avoiding advertising, political incorrectness, very good. Excellent. Okay. So next week, we're going to take all these tools and tips and we're going to look at your social media posts to help you build a brand, okay? Oh, Patrick's like, no, yes, it'll be so much fun. So what I would like for you to do is go back and look at your posts, whether it be from Instagram or social, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, whatever. And if you have any where you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have sent that, I would like for you to, and I don't know, Kelsey, is there a way that we could collect these before Tuesday, or?
Sure, you can certainly send me an email and I'll collect them.
Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be something super embarrassing either. Maybe it was like a grammar mistake, or you know, you meant to say something else.
Yeah.
Or just one that you think, now I could do a lot better with how I should add. It doesn't have to be something super embarrassing.
Absolutely. I have a few that I look back and I'm like, oh, what? What was I even saying? You know, so send those to Kelsey, and then we're going to spend some time analyzing them and then revising them. So the same way that you'd revise a paper, you can revise your social media posts, okay? So that is coming next week, same day, same time. I hope that you will all join me back here on Zoom. If you have a friend who wants to come, bring your friend, okay? But now Kelsey's going to talk to you a little bit about Concordia University in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Hi guys, thanks again for joining. I really appreciate having you here as we learn about some of the risky behaviors that can happen when you're on social media. And we've shown you kind of some of the more shocking ones, just to say like, ooh, once we have an emotional reaction to that, it can really stick with you. So hopefully these really extreme versions can, you know, just be that little bit of a hesitation before you post something that maybe you, when you're in the future looking back at that, you would say, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So please forgive us for maybe some of the extremeness of some of those posts, and let us know again if you're like, you know, here's one that I think I could improve on. It's not this bad, and I hope none of you have some that are that bad, but that we can use to kind of improve in the future and really make it so that you're building your personal social media brand. So just so you guys know, Dr. Erin Laverick teaches at Concordia University Ann Arbor, like she said. So right now we are still accepting applications for the spring 2021 semester, and you can apply for free at applycuaa.cuw.edu. We do not require an ACT or SAT score. If you have not studied in an English speaking institution, usually in the United States, or that has like a British curriculum, we do have our wonderful partner, Michigan Language Center, who we have a virtual English pathway program with. So you can study your English classes when you're still in your home country, and make sure your English is good to go into starting academic classes at Concordia University Ann Arbor. Or we also accept those other English tests you see down there. If you have any questions, I've already put my info in the chat, but we can certainly set up a time to talk or Zoom and talk about that. So like Erin said, it's the #1 college town in the United States. So if you'd like to live and study in the #1 college town in the US while still having a smaller campus feel, so you get that really personal connection, Concordia Ann Arbor may be the best choice for you. Some of the popular majors, especially if you're really interested in social media, is digital media design, where they have an emphasis in social media. So as we move into a more virtual world, and we've kind of had the gas pedal on that right now, it's becoming more and more important to have people like you who really know how to use their social media etiquette and understand their brand and that of their company when you're looking in the employment fields. We also have the most popular majors are probably business, computer science, and nursing at the Concordia University Ann Arbor location. All right, so really quick too, if you guys want to get in touch with any of us here on the screen, Dr. Erin Laverick, I've put her email up there. Erin, you're okay having emails from students? Yes, okay. And Michigan Language Center, Moses, did you want to say hi and where to go?
Very nice to meet you all. We'll be sending some information back to you after this, and we're looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Yeah. definitely. And then Concordia International Center, if you want to get a hold of us, or if you just want to like dive right in and talk to our general email, it's international.admissions@cuw.edu. There is the website, which Patrick, I saw you taking a photo. That's fabulous. Well done. But that is our multilingual site, so you can change it into multiple languages. So that's really helpful when you're looking at how to apply. And also, again, that info's in the chat box already, but you can see my email address and my WhatsApp as well. So feel free to communicate. I also love it when people just send me pictures of their dogs. That's always a good time too to break up the day. All right, guys, so if you don't have any other questions, and we'll hang out for a little bit just in case you do, but we'll see you next week for part 2. Remember to send me those examples of ones that you're like, now I know, I'm gonna do it a little differently next time. Okay? All right. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. I'm gonna stop the recording now too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.